Welcome to Warrior News, your front line for the stories shaping our world. We bring you breaking news, major global events, and the latest developments with speed, accuracy, and clarity. From urgent headlines to stories that impact millions, we keep you informed with the facts that matter. Subscribe now and turn on notifications to stay ahead of the news, wherever it happens. If you've been here before, welcome back to the channel. Now, before we get into today's video, let me know your thoughts on the current roster heading into the 2026-2027 season. I want to hear your thoughts down in the comment section below. Also, if you haven't yet, make sure to go down below, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. It's completely free, takes just a second of time, and really does help us continue to bring the best Warriors content and analysis on YouTube. So, if you enjoyed today's video, make sure you go down below, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. It really does help us out. Now, getting into today's video, we all know the Warriors are running it back with virtually the same exact roster, and there might not be a problem with that. But the biggest issue is the fact that this roster is the furthest thing from being healthy and from being available. Obviously, Jimmy Butler, Moses Moody will not be healthy to start the season. And Kristaps Porzingis, Al Horford, those two guys have not been reliable in terms of playing a lot of back-to-backs and just simply being ready on a nightly basis over the course of 82 games through the past few seasons. And that's not even mentioning Steph Curry dealing with some significant injuries over the past few years. However, we did get some good news involving one of those names that is not going to be ready for opening night. And in this instance, it is Jimmy Butler. Now, we got word from NBA Report and from a few other sources. Now, none of these sources are major NBA reporters, so I would take this news with a grain of salt. But they did say Jimmy Butler, who had an early exit to last season because of a torn ACL on January 19 against the Heat, is expected to be targeting a comeback in early to mid-December. And the most likely outcome is that Butler is going to play against the Denver Nuggets on Christmas Day with a minute restrictions per report. Now, this is extremely exciting because we know if the Warriors want to do anything this year, if they want to make the playoffs, if they even want to make the play-in tournament, they need Jimmy Butler to be relatively good as soon as he gets back. A lot of it is relying on him to come back healthy and come back and be the contributor he was before he got hurt last season. So, while it is a risky call, if it does work out, it is going to make Mike Dunleavy Jr. and Joe Liob look like they knew what they were doing this off-season and throughout this summer. Now, this news did come a few days after we learned that Jimmy Butler is in China this week getting back on the basketball court, and that came from Anthony Slater, obviously one of the bigger Warriors insiders and NBA in general insiders. This tweet coming from Full Court Pass on Twitter. So, we do know that Jimmy Butler is starting to get into those basketball, practices, those basketball actions again, which is really encouraging considering we're only in August. So, he'll have a few months to get back in the swing of things, to get his feet wet, on a basketball court, getting into that basketball speed again, which you want him to be game ready as soon as he gets back. I know that sounds really cliché. Yeah, you need to be game ready when you get back onto an NBA court, but you don't want there to be, a small transition period, him getting back into the speed of things, him feeling good, feeling comfortable jumping, shooting, all of that. You want him to come back ready to compete, ready to help the Warriors fight for a playoff spot, fight for a play-in spot. So, we do get these news reports and it is really encouraging for the Warriors because, as I mentioned already, a lot of what they want to do falls on the back of Jimmy Butler coming back healthy and coming back ready to compete with the Golden State Warriors. Now, I do want to talk a little bit about this roster because obviously I've already said it a few times. A lot falls under Butler being healthy, But when healthy, this roster can compete with some of the better teams in the Western Conference. Now, I know a lot of you are saying, "Whoa, what is Michael talking about? He is speaking crazy. He has no idea what he's talking about." But the Warriors have a good record when Steph Curry and Jimmy Butler are on the court. Steph Curry, Jimmy Butler together, they have a 70% winning percentage when they play together. We've seen it time and time again. Their first season together after that trade deadline, they looked really strong pretty immediately if we are being honest. And they took the Houston Rockets, who were a second seed in the Western Conference, to 7 games. Won that series, won a playoff series together against a team that they probably shouldn't have beat if we are being completely honest. You combine playoff Steph, who we've seen beat an absolute killer over the past decade, and playoff Jimmy, who has been one of the better playoff risers in the NBA in recent memory. You combine those two in the playoffs, it could be a really, really fun run if the Warriors can get into the dance this postseason. Now, I do want to talk about a tweet. I've already brought this one up on the channel a few times, but I do think this is a more positive outlook on the roster that more Warriors fans should be thinking about. Now, this came from the Warriors Talk on Twitter, obviously, one of the bigger Warriors accounts on the site. In all fairness to the Warriors, before Jimmy went down last year, they were playing very good basketball, and that was before they even traded for Porzingis. Jimmy went down, Steph went down, then their season tanked. There's no hiding from the fact that it feels like every Warriors fan will be covering their eyes every time a player hits the deck during the season. This team is older, no doubt, and injury-prone. As I've already made the joke on this channel before, this is a full unction. You know, there are a lot of older players, a lot of injury-prone guys, but at full strength, a lineup of Steph, Melt, Jimmy, Draymond, and Porzingis is dangerous. Then you have Yako, who we are expecting pretty big things from in his rookie season. Pajki, a guy who showed a lot of flashes last year as a potential one-scorer when Steph is off the court. A Big Al, probably GP2, who is now officially a Warrior, and someone else in the mix as well. Not sure when Moody will be ready. The big question, which I've already mentioned in this video, will they be able to stay out of the plane again without Jimmy for half of the year and while resting so many players again on back-to-backs? And that is the real question this season. This roster can compete in the Western Conference when healthy. But will they be available enough, and will they be healthy enough to compete in the Western Conference? We've already talked about Jimmy Butler. He is a very good Warrior when he's on the court and healthy. We've seen him and Steph click very well together early on in his Warriors tenure. However, Kristoforis has shown a clear inability to stay healthy over the course of an 82-game season. The last 3 to 4 seasons he's dealt with his own sickness, of course, and other injuries mixed in there as well. It's a real question to ask, you know, should the Warriors rely on Kristoforis to be available for 40 games, 50 games? Can he play, 65 to 70 games? That would be a very positive outcome for the Warriors. So, Porzingis is a real question mark. And then you talk about Al Horford, a guy who was pretty good last year, but you talk about the fact that he is getting into his 40s. He is not available on most back-to-backs. He has to take a lot of rest compared to the average NBA player because he is in his 40s. So, that's another question mark. And that's not even talking about Moses Moody, who has shown a lot of real flashes over the years, but again, won't be ready on opening night. And then lastly, talking about the face of the franchise, the face of the organization's history, Steph Curry. He has dealt with some significant injuries over the past few years. He is getting in. He's getting up there in age as well. He's 38 years old this season and Jimmy Butler's 37. But Steph Curry is 38 years old this season. He is not going to be able to play all 82 games. I think you're dreaming if you think that can happen. I think if you get 70 to 75 out of him, that is a very positive outcome. So, let me know down in the comments your thoughts on this roster, on this health update regarding Jimmy Butler being back hopefully on Christmas Day against the Denver Nuggets. That'd be fun to watch him return versus the Nuggets on Christmas Day. That would be a spectacle to watch. But in general, getting him back in, mid to late December is definitely on the quicker spectrum of terms of when we thought we'd get him back. And him coming back and being a real contributor right away would be a huge difference maker for the Golden State Warriors. Let me know your thoughts down in the comments section below. And if you enjoyed today's video, make sure to hit that like button. Make sure to hit that subscribe button. That'd be much